The Five Levels of Leadership is a book written by John C. Maxwell, and it shows you how leadership is like a ladder. There are 5 rungs on the ladder. You should learn all about these ladder rungs and how to climb up from position to permission to production to people development and then to pinnacle. It's just 5 levels, but the permutations and combinations of possibilities are far more than 5. There are thousands of potential scenarios as you climb the ladder of leadership in a firm. Let's start off with some insights on the 5 levels of leadership. First of all, you can move up a level, but you never truly leave the previous level behind. For example, you get into a position and that becomes level 1. The positional level is purely based on hope that you can function in that position. But in order to lead, you need more than a position. You need to have that charisma. You need to have that personable character. And that takes you to level 2, where you get into the permission level. And people follow you, not because of your position alone, but they follow you because they like you, because you are a personable character. And that illustrates that you never truly leave the previous level. Yeah, people follow you because you are a charismatic individual, but you still have the position. You get what I'm saying? So that's one of the rules. The second one is you are not on the same level with every person. What do we mean by that? Well, people respond to you based on the level you are on with them. It's dynamic. For example, for one person, you could be on a level 4 because you started giving a lot of time and energy and nuggets of improvement to that individual. That's the people development level. But for someone else who you have not sown that amount of time, energy, effort into, you could just be looked at as a positional leader. So you're not on the same level with every person. Number 3, the higher you go, the easier it is to lead. Level 1 is the hardest. Leadership gets easier. However, the higher you go, as your influence increases, you advance to higher levels. Climbing the 5 levels of leadership isn't an easy task, but as you begin to advance, you get more leverage. Number 4, the higher you go, the more time and commitment are required to win a level. Every level requires additional work. It may get easier to lead at that level, but it never gets easier to climb. Most people don't experience easy, effective leadership because there's a price to pay. And that price, a lot of people hardly ever pay the price, which makes leadership difficult. So time and commitment are of the essence. Number 5, moving up levels occurs slowly, but going down can happen quickly. Think about it. Someone falls from grace. Immediately, the way we see them in the world changes. The press covers it, everyone puts it on social media, and that fall from grace is an automatic ejection down to the lowest level. So moving up occurs slowly, but going down can happen quickly. Number 6, the higher you go, the greater the return. When leaders lead well, they help others around them to flourish as leaders, building an ongoing legacy, and much greater than their initial investment. It pays to invest in people leadership-wise, because as they grow, you grow. Number 7, moving further up always requires further growth. Growth as a leader requires a combination of intentional growth and leadership experience. These two very different factors, intentional growth and leadership experience, are both vital. You can have someone who has grown with a lot of knowledge, but has never practiced what they have learned. We see that in a lot of conferences. People flock to the conference, but they never pragmatize what they learn. So moving further up always requires further growth, leadership experience, the pragmatism of putting what you learned into practice. Number 8, not climbing the levels limits you and your people. For example, a leader that decides to stay at likability. People follow me because they like me. They will find it very hard to produce and be an effective organization, because it takes more than leading based on likability to get results. You got to get to level 3, which is the production level, if you get what I mean. In the book, John says leadership ability determines a level of effectiveness for the individual. The principle is known as the law of the lid. Basically, your leadership is the lid on your effectiveness. So in order for you to go higher, you must continue to get better. Not climbing the levels will stagnate you at a level of leadership that prohibits further growth. In the words of C.W. Perry, leadership is accepting people where they are, then taking them somewhere. Number 9, when you change positions or organizations, you seldom stay at the same level. This is quite a revealing yet sobering fact in the 5 levels of leadership. It's as though you were starting all over again. All of the accolades and all of the acclaim that you got from organization A, when you leave organization A to organization B, you start again. And that's why a lot of people who job hop find it very frustrating, because all the leverage that you had from a prior firm goes out of the window. You start all over again. You don't retain the level that you climbed at in your previous firm. Be aware of that. Some people are reluctant to leave organizations because they realize this. They'd rather hold on to what they have because they think of leadership as a destination instead of a process. They simply hope to get there, and once they're there, they don't need to do any other work. But that's not the case. It's dynamic. Even if you stayed in the same firm, you've got to evolve. You got to look at leadership growth with intention. Number 10, you cannot climb the levels alone. Leaders are always taking someone with them, and therefore it isn't really lonely at the top. If you're at the top and you're all alone, as John says, you're not a leader. You are a hiker. So, my friends, in the 5 levels of leadership, you got to understand you can move up a level, but you never truly leave. You're not on the same level with everyone. The higher you go, the easier it is. The higher you go, the more time and commitment are required to win a level. Moving up is slow, but going down can happen quick. The higher you go, the greater the return. Moving further up always requires further growth. Not climbing the levels limits you and your people. They're doomed. Number 9, when you change positions, you seldom stay at the same level. When you leave organizations, you seldom stay at the same level. And number 10, you cannot climb the levels alone. So, my friends, my question to you is, which level are you at generally, and which level are you at with your people? When you look at your team, do they see you as a level 1 leader leading purely by position? Or do they see you as someone leading by likability, by trust? Level 2, people follow because they want to. Or do they see you at level 3, the production level, people following you because you are a shining example of productivity? Or do they see you at level 4, people follow you because of what you've done for them? You've given them insights, you've given them growth, you've added value to them. Or are you at a level 5, the pinnacle? People follow you because of who you are and what you represent to the firm and the surrounding environment as a whole. My friends, this is just the beginning. We got to go deeper into the 5 levels of leadership, and we're jumping into the upsides and the downsides of level 1. The level 1 positional level is rather interesting in that everyone needs the position, even the janitor. Position is the foundation for leadership, and this is where you start on your leadership journey. No one escapes level 1, even if you're the sweeper. So the opening question for you is, those given a leadership position must have demonstrated some of the core qualities of a leader. What are those qualities? Regardless the position, think about it. Everyone who gets into a role in a firm, even if they are a sweeper or garbage disposal person, they've demonstrated something. What is it? Well, the individual who gave them the job definitely saw potential. See what I'm saying? Everyone getting into a position has demonstrated some sort of capability, some sort of potential. So let's jump into the upside of the positional level. If you are a new leader entering into leadership, there are 4 positives of the positional level. Number 1, a leadership position is usually given to people because they have leadership potential. They've demonstrated something. If you didn't get the job, it means they didn't see what they needed to see. In the words of John Wooden, he would say, "Don't tell me what you're going to do, show me what you're going to do." No man is a leader until his appointment is ratified in the minds and hearts of men. In other words, you ain't going to get that job, you ain't going to get that position if you don't demonstrate it. A lot of project managers go for interviews and they say, "Why wasn't I selected?" Well, you weren't selected because they did not see the vision of what you could do in that position. So, number one, a leadership position is given to people because they have leadership potential. Number two, a leadership position means authority is recognized. The people around you must believe in your leadership, even if you're the sweeper, even if you're the janitor. See, at this level one, a certain amount of leadership has been given. However, you can expect your power to be limited at level one. But authority is recognized. You have the authority to empty the garbage. You have the authority to go into classrooms or offices and sweep them up. When you think about it, the people who come in, the sweepers, the cleaners, you're giving them a whole lot of authority because they're going through all the offices when you're not there. That's a level of authority if you ask me. Number three, a leadership position is an invitation to grow as a leader. Your journey through the 5 levels of leadership will only succeed if you commit yourself to continual development. In other words, develop yourself before you attempt to develop your people. When asked what's the one thing you would change to improve the effectiveness of your organization, usually people name things that can be found on the list of P's: products, promotions, policies, processes, procedures, project management, pricing, people. Seldom does anyone give the most powerful and significant of all answers. You know what that is? Me. I would change me to improve our organization because leadership starts from above and tapers. A leadership position allows potential leaders to shape and define their leadership. And when I say a leadership position, don't get twisted. It's not saying C-level, VP level, director level, manager level. No, no, no. A leadership position is a starting point. That's what it is. The greatest potential upside for people invited to take on a position is they can now decide what kind of leader they want to be in that role. When we think about leadership, we often think about position, but that is not the case. Leadership is influence. John Maxwell would say leadership, the true measure of it, is influence, nothing more, nothing less. You see, leadership is much less about what you do and much more about who you are. If you view leadership as a bag of manipulative tricks or charismatic behaviors to advance your own personal interest, then people have every right to be cynical. But if your leadership flows first and foremost from inner character and integrity ambition, then you can justly ask people to lend themselves to your organization and its mission, in the words of Francis Hesselbein. So the question is, who am I? In a nutshell, ask yourself that question. What are my values? Values are the soul of your leadership that drives behaviors. You got ethical values, you got relational values, and success values. So let's break these down. When leaders don't maintain core values, their actions affect many people beside themselves. Ethical values. What does it mean to do the right thing for the right reason? Relational values. How do you build an environment of trust, respect, and psychological safety with others? Number 3, success values. What goals are worth spending your life on? Ask yourself those questions. John Maxwell wrote a book called How to Be a Real Success, and part of success is knowing your purpose in life. Sowing seeds that benefit others and grow into your maximum potential. It's in line with ethics, relationships, and the concept of goals worth pursuing for success. So I ask you, my friend, as we get to the end of this first section, what leadership practices do you want to put in place? What example will you set? How will you treat people? How will you motivate others? What should you expect from your team? Where do you lead others? And those, my friends, are some of the thoughts of the upside of the positional level. It's a good thing to be looked at as someone that has potential and to be given a role. It's a good thing to look at your role and to say, okay, authority is recognized. It's a good thing to be in a position because it's an invitation to grow. Some people see the position as the be-all end-all, but it shouldn't be the case. It should be a growth promise. And lastly, leadership allows you, the potential leader, to shape and define your leadership. Now, let's talk about the downsides of level 1, because level 1 has its downsides. The same way it has upsides, it has downsides. Number 1, you are in a leadership position and it could be misleading. Why do we say that? Well, think about the common sense of it. Just because you are the CEO doesn't mean that you are CEO material and can deliver at that level. You see, a position always promises more than it can deliver because leadership is action, not position. Relying on your position to establish leadership is going to leave you disappointed. Haven't you seen so many C-level executives that are worthless in their management of their firms? Yes, which is why they bring in a new CEO and another one goes out and another one comes in. Because having the position could be misleading. Number 2, another downside of the positional level, leaders who rely solely on position to lead others, they devalue people. They devalue people by not having a genuine belief in them, by assuming people can't instead of assuming they can. John would say leaders believe the best in everyone. True leaders, that is. By assuming people won't rather than believing they will. That's how leaders could devalue people at a purely positional level. At a purely positional level, leaders see problems more readily than potential in people. Leaders at a positional level purely, they view people as liabilities instead of assets. See, people might be an asset to you if you see them as such. They're your most expansive asset if you see them as such. When people in a purely positional level of mindedness see their people as liabilities, as stubborn, people needing a carrot and stick, they run the risk of damaging team morale. We don't want to be like that as leaders. Another downside, positional leaders feed on politics. It's all about valuing the ability to control. Positional leaders focus on control instead of contribution. Downside number 4, positional leaders who are all about, I'm the boss, you follow me. The problem is they place rights over responsibilities. Their job description is more important to them than their job development. Just because you have the right to do something as a leader doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. You see, the right way to look at it is as you go up, rights diminish, responsibilities increase. That's the right way to look at it. But unfortunately, people who are purely in a positional level of thinking, they think of the rights they have to control people, to manipulate people, to push people. Number 5, positional leadership is often lonely for obvious reasons. When positional leaders misunderstand the functions and purpose of leadership, it creates a negative work environment, a place of psychological vulnerability in a bad way. People feel vulnerable and they feel unsafe. That's what happens when one leads from a purely positional standpoint. And for that reason, leaders who remain positional, they get branded and stranded. They become branded as positional leaders and they probably will never advance in that organization. They may move laterally, but they rarely move up. Real leaders, they prepare new leaders for success, investing in them, investing time in them, being servant leaders. The 7th downside is turnover. Turnover is high for positional leaders. They always lose their best people, and when the best people leave an organization because of bad positional leaders, the organization is going to suffer. Number 8, positional leaders receive people's least, not their best. You know what positional leaders normally end up with? The clock watcher, the person who is obsessed with how much time they've spent in the job that day. And as John would put it, by 4:55, they're at the water fountain, drinking water, lacing up their shoes, getting ready to hop in their car. And by 4:59, they're already in the car park. They're not going to give you anything more than the bare minimum. Positional leaders, they get the least, not the best. It's a sad place to be. Very, very poor position to be in as a purely positional leader. Now, one of the things John talks about in the book is beliefs and behaviors at this level. Position leaders, they often have certain views and beliefs about leadership. To get to the next level of leadership beyond the position, people need to change their beliefs and they need to change their behaviors. In other words, they need to change how they think about leadership and they need to change how they act as leaders, behaviors. The beliefs of position that can help a person move up. Number one, titles are never enough. A position is not a worthy destination for anyone's life, and especially not for someone with great leadership potential. Security does not give purpose. Leadership is meant to be active and dynamic. Number two, think people, not position. People, not position, are a leader's most valuable asset. Great leaders don't rely on rules or procedures to get things done or keep things going. Your best course of action to get to level 2 is to rely more on relationship building. Show people that they are valuable. When they see you putting people ahead of position, they'll begin to help you. Have some hang time. Have some chill time where you recognize people who work with you, not for you, where you give them accolades and where you realize the good work that they've done. Verbalize it. Don't just think it. Number 3, a leader doesn't need to know all of the answers. An effective leader isn't afraid to admit to not knowing something. Great leaders use these moments to seek out answers and gain new knowledge and perspectives. And number 4, the right thinking to get to the next level is always include others. Good leadership is about leading with others, not just leading others. Leading with others fosters teamwork, respect, creativity, and success with the team. For those of you project managers, you know a lot of what I'm saying resonates with those who are from the world of the agile thinking, the agile mindedness. Because when we look at leadership from an agile perspective, everyone has that responsibility. It's not a one-person affair. Finally, let's talk about behaviors of position. Behaviors that help a leader to move up to level 2. Number 1, stop relying on position to push people. You see, the poor thinking with level 1 is, I'm over you. You report to me. It's a very poor way of thinking. Instead of thinking, I'm over you, think, let's work together, side by side. Level 1 thinking is separation. Don't let people get too close to you. They won't value me as a leader. They'll take my leadership for granted. But instead, think like a level 2 leader. I'll come to you. I'll set the tone. I'll set the open door policy. Initiation. Instead of, I'm going to fake it till I make it, trying to make it look like you know everything. Have a mindset of inclusion. Ask others, hey, what do you think? It doesn't take away any strength from you. It only adds to it. Level 1 thinking is, never let them see you sweat. Show you're strong. But instead, a better mindset is cooperation. Together, we can do this. Not, I've got it all. No, cooperation. Instead of thinking, you're here to help me, you need to think, I'm here to help you. Instead of thinking, I have the power, I determine your future. No. Instead, see it the way one of my bosses did. Tim Fraser, great guy out in Citigroup, when I worked there in the United Kingdom, his mindset was always, I want to add value to you. I want to help you. I want to help you pursue your career. I want to help you pursue your dreams. I want to help you grow. I'm going to propel you to greatness. Great guy. Instead of thinking, intimidation, do this or else. How about a mindset of encouragement? I believe you can do this. Finally, instead of thinking rules, the manual says, let's think innovation, thinking out of the box. So our core mindsets are, we are going to stop relying on position to push people. We are going to trade entitlement for movement. We are going to leave our position and move towards our people. And if you do these things, my friends, you will begin to escalate higher and higher into the realm of permission level 2. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the first level in the 5 levels of leadership, smash that like button, subscribe, and let me know that you want to hear the next one in month 2. Bye for now, and all the best in your leadership.